Hi, I'm Tom Yost and we're going to go over the IDPA Classifier today. The IDPA Classifier is a 90-round course of fire divided into 3 different stages. What you need for the classifier are a couple props. You need a Bianchi barricade that's at 20 yards, a 55-gallon drum that is at 15 yards. You need 3 target stands. Those are separated by 2 yards or 6 feet in between them. T1, the target all the way to the left, the height of the top of the head is 6 feet. T2, the center target, top of the head is 4 feet. And T3, the most rightward target, top of the head is 5 feet. First stage, string 1 will be firing 2 rounds to the body and 1 round to the head of T1. That completes your first string. Second string, you're going to fire 2 rounds to T2 to the body, 1 round to the head. Third string will be T3, the furthest most right target, 2 rounds to the body, 1 to the head. Fourth string will be 2 rounds to each of the 3 targets for a total of 6 rounds. At that point, you will go forward and tape any head targets that were below the neckline so that they don't count. That way you know where the hits are. Your next string of fire will be starting with the gun in your weak hand. Safety can be off, but finger must be out of trigger guard, pointed at a 45-degree angle. Next string of fire, you will be firing 3 rounds, 1 at each of the targets for a total of 3 rounds. Your next string of fire will be still at the 7-yard line, facing uprange, gun loaded with a maximum of 3 rounds in the gun. On the signal, you're going to turn, then draw, fire 1 round at each of the 3 targets. You're then going to be at slide lock or an emergency reload the gun again, and complete the course of fire by firing 1 round at each of the 3 targets, total of 6 rounds. Your final string of fire at the 7-yard line will be gun holstered. You will draw, fire 2 rounds at each of the targets for a total of 6 rounds, strong hand only. That completes your course of fire. Also, let me point out, the IDPA Classifier starting position is no concealment, hands relaxed outside. That completes stage 1 of the IDPA Classifier. Let's go on to stage 2. At stage 2, you're going to be back at the 10-yard line, and you also have a 5-yard boundary line on this also. First string of fire, you will be advancing forward. You will fire 2 rounds at each of the targets for a total of 6 rounds while on the move. So starting at the 10-yard, completing before you get to the 5-yard mark up there. Second string of fire will be toes on the 5-yard line while retreating 2 rounds on each of the targets for a total of 6 rounds. The third string of fire at the 10-yard line will be 6 rounds total loaded in the gun. You're going to start facing uprange. On the buzzer, you're going to turn, then draw the gun, fire 2 rounds on each of the targets freestyle. You're going to be at a slide lock or emergency reload at that point, reload the gun, and then put 2 more rounds on each of the 3 targets for a total of 12 rounds. Your final string of fire for stage 2 will be gun holstered, facing downrange. On the buzzer, you're going to draw, fire 2 rounds on each of the targets, strong hand only. That completes stage 2 of the classifier. Let's go on to stage 3. Stage 3, you're going to begin at the 20-yard line at the Bianchi barricade. First string of fire will be facing downrange, draw, fire 2 rounds on each of the 3 targets from either side of the barricade. I typically fire from the right-hand side of the barricade for the first part of it. You then need to do a loaded chamber reload, also known as a tack reload or reload with retention. Go to the other side of the barricade, and again, slicing the pie out to in, fire 2 rounds on each. That will be a total of 12 rounds at the 20-yard line. That's your first string of fire from stage 3. Second string of fire from the 20-yard line will be, again, firing 2 rounds on each of the 3 targets from either side of the barricade. Being right-handed, I prefer to go from the right-hand side of the barricade. Once I've engaged each of those targets while slicing the pie, I again do a loaded chamber reload or reloaded retention or tack reload. The reload must be completed before I advance from the barricade, which means magazine must be in the gun. If I'm stowing the mag in my pocket, I can move while I'm stowing that mag, but the gun must be loaded before I move from that position of cover. Once I get up to the 55-gallon barrel at 15 yards, I'm going to drop to a knee. Again, either side you can do it. Being right-handed, I prefer the right side, and I need to slice the pie on that. 2 on each of them. It has to go from around the side of the barrel, not over the top of it. And the final string of fire for stage 3 of the classifier is I'm standing at the 55-gallon drum. On the buzzer, I'm dropping to a knee, slicing the pie, again 2 rounds on each for a total of 6. And that completes the 90-round IDPA classifier.